I have a friend this morning. Morning, Mr. Seagull. He wants to know if I have any chippies. Or a nice muffin, perhaps. So when you walk around the side of towards the back entrance of the Royal Botanic Gardens, you arrive at the Sydney Opera House. Good morning, Ella. Good morning. You're beautiful. No chippy, no chats. So it's supposed to be raining today. So I'm hoping to get some nice walks around the Botanical Gardens. So the Botanical Gardens were established in 1816, and down here you can actually see a bird fishing. You can see zoom in, he's just gone underwater. He's going to pop out any minute. So the Botanical Gardens were established in 1816. Area of about 30 hectares. Where are you? It's going to pop out somewhere. It's got a long neck, it looks like a snake. It's amazing how long now we are. Let's see if I can zoom in. Here we go. Off we go again. Okay, well, it's got a big job fishing this morning. In the distance you can see the naval ship. So they berthed around the side. So the vivid light show obviously comes through the Botanical Gardens as well. So the light show we saw last night, I think is part of a 8-kilometer walk. I've just spotted this beautiful giant fig. Isn't that just amazing? It's the same fig tree that I took a video of in the little park in Morpeth. That's a giant. He must be, probably, I don't know. Don't want to guess. But I suppose he could be 200 years old. It's not very busy today, but it'll obviously pick up later this afternoon, being Friday. Last night there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. It was quite incredible to see all these people. We had been walking around Circular Quays at 4 o'clock and it was busy, all your normal tourists, but it wasn't anything overly busy. And then went back to our hotel, made a boiled egg for supper. As we only had one pot in the room, so we thought, okay, we'll make a boiled egg with some mayo for supper. which was quite nice, and then headed out, and it was amazing. Literally within a 2-hour period, there were hundreds, probably thousands of people out walking the 8-kilometer stretch along Circular Quays round to the Sydney Harbour Bridge and back to the Sydney Opera House. So this will all be lit up at night, which will be absolutely beautiful. This is called Winter Cathedral. So this will be an arch just of the most magnificent little light. So perhaps tonight we'll come back and walk through here. To my right, you can see some of the Sydney skyline. It's such a beautiful city. Walking through the little alleyways this morning, there's a tiny alley from our hotel called Nurses Alley, and it's literally one person wide with cobblestones, and you walk down through the little alley to get to Circular Quays, and off the alley are tiny little doors going to restaurants or coffee shops, and it just is so European. It's so makes me feel like I'm back in Europe somewhere. Look at these beautiful trees with their roots that are all exposed. Everywhere in Sydney you see people with little overnight bags. So this is a Ficus macrophylla. So this is okay, restricted to Lord Howe Island. Doesn't have a single main trunk. Instead it has 10 or more trunks, each having arisen from an aerial root. In 1882 it was recorded that the largest of the old trees on Lord Howe Island covered an area of about 1 hectare. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, so Suez Canal, this is what the Aussies call a bin bird, which we would call a sacred ibis. The Egyptians regarded them as quite special birds. And he is quite a special looking fella. He's got quite a ruff going on there around his neck. The unfortunate thing is these birds have become used to living around restaurants and spaces where there's a lot of takeaway foods. So they spend a lot of their time sitting on dustbins, foraging out of dustbins, and that's why they're called bin birds. But this fellow is probably more organic. Hello. Hello, beautiful. He's doing the right thing. He's not looking in dustbins for macas and things like that. He's going again. branch is so big. Not sure if it would have broken and then obviously came to rest and then just carried on growing up. It's quite extraordinary. I'm sure there's little possums and things that live in this tree. It's a giant. Another big ficus, the wild fig. That's even bigger than the other ones. Wonder how old that is. This tree is getting its autumn colors. Art gallery, herbarium, conservatorium of music. There's a little duck. We'll definitely have to come back tonight when the lights are on. I think I was busy telling you about Suez Alley. Anyway, there were two rival gangs and apparently they used to attack people. So it was not a very safe part of the city. The area is called On the Rocks. So this bunch of tulips obviously lights up at night. We'll have to come back and look at that. There's the kookaburras. Ah, there's one just above us. So that's the sound of Australia. For me it is. The laughing kookaburra. He looks very much like a kingfisher. It's probably the same family. He's just a much larger version of the kingfisher. And of course he doesn't have that beautiful blue of the kingfisher. The kookaburra is more brown and red. This must be the Oriental Garden. Ah, here are the lions, the two guardians. So these ribbons obviously light up at night. They probably have lights in them. This is a little crested pigeon. Very similar to our doves, but they have a spectacular crest and they puff themselves up when doing a mating dance. It's quite something to see. Anyway, I've just spotted the tea room ahead of me. This tree obviously gets lit up. You can see the whole... Those are sulfur-crested cockatoos. They make an horrific sound. So this tree is obviously lit up at night. You can see the fluorescent tubing. I think it's fluorescent or whatever it is, around the tree. So at night that'll be absolutely beautiful. It will be completely lit up. We'll have to come back for that. It's accompanied by this screeching of the sulfur-crested cockatoos. They are beautiful birds, but oh, do they make a noise. So there's another light feature. You can see these hanging lights. They obviously light up. And the tea room is behind us. It's called the Cat's Pajamas. There must be so many different birds that live in the botanical gardens. I'm sure there's some tawny frogmouth owls that live in these trees. And there's probably little possums. Possums are nocturnal, so you would only see them at night. Well, you probably wouldn't see them at night, you'd hear them. They make quite a noise. So this is a tropical garden. Look at this, I think this is a stag fern, if I remember correctly. It actually grows, it's just a loose fern that attaches itself to something like a tree, and I think it gets its sustenance from the air around it. I think it's called a stag fern, or stag antler fern. Have to check up on that. So these are all the palms. This little bench is dedicated to harper. Like branches on a tree, we all grow in different directions, but our roots remain as one. It's beautiful. The sandstone fountain. Oh, here's the matchstick flowers that we have in our garden that were about to bloom. That's exactly the matchstick flower that we have in one of our beds. And the combination of the colors is just beautiful. Pink and the mauve. They make quite a show. Isn't that beautiful? Matchstick plant, matchstick flower. These cockatoos are real characters. One's always so tempted to feed them, but the problem is they get so used to you, and then when you don't feed them, they will attack your gutters. They'll pull the fascia boarding off. They get quite aggressive, and yeah, they will insist that you feed them. So it's actually better not to feed them at all. This looks like a little house out of a storybook. Something that Hansel and Gretel would have found. It's obviously just a little refuge in case it starts raining or thunder and lightning. Little pavilion. And another enormous tree. If I'm feeling stressed, I'll go up to a tree and just put my arms around it, close my eyes, and it's said that trees are very grounding. So when you hold a tree, you always hear about tree huggers. Well, I'm a tree hugger. When you hold a tree like that, or just touch a tree and close your eyes, it's as if all your negative emotions just drain into the soil, and the tree grounds you. It's like a copper wire. It just drains all the negativity out of you and helps you back into balance. Trees are very powerful. Stand firm, but bend in the storms. Don't be afraid to bend and be flexible, because that way you won't break. There's a whole world that lives in a tree. All the little birds and the insects. We take trees so for granted. Oh, there's some maggies. These are some of my favorite birds. Little magpies. They're always in family groups. So there would be a mum and a dad and a baby. So these three, the one at the top I think is the male. They have a lot of white on the back of their head. And then the female has sort of a more grey patch at the back. And then right behind her, that's a baby. The babies are generally sort of more brown or grey in colour, but they always stick together in family groups. There's actually another baby up there. Let's see if we can get him. Where are you? There we are. That's the other baby. Spotted these beautiful, they look like little feathers, flowers. Never seen anything like that. And the birds you hear behind me are the little noisy miners. I wonder what that flower is. It's beautiful. Going to get out of the road. There's a truck coming. I'm seeing flowers today, which I've never seen before. And there you hear the sulfur-crested cockatoo. So these are all the banana plants, banana trees, banana plants. There you hear the kookaburras. I think there's a whole happening going on with kookaburras, ducks, sulfur-crested cockatoos. It's obviously a botanical gardens meet and greet. And there's a little moorhen here.